In an attempted surprise attack on US forces in the Middle East, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran, targeting Muaffaq Salati Air Base in Jordan. The US Central Command reported that all incoming missiles were successfully intercepted, of which Jordan confirmed destroying 5 with no casualties reported.
Under what scenario do you see Iran attacking US installations and personnel overseas and you withdrawing? Or
I don't see that. No, we're not. No, we're gonna hit them very hard. I mean, I can actually say that because there's very little they can do about it. It was a different group than we're dealing with. They've already apologized, but you know, we got to smack them a little bit.
Mr. President, always going to hit back when they strike?
Will I always hit back?
Yes.
Pretty much. Yes.
Mr. President, just want to put clarity on that, sir. Is that in response to the attempted ballistic missile strike on Jordan last night? When you say it's our turn to hit back?
Yeah, I think more so that, yeah, because it was another smaller event. But no, they sent 5 8,000-mile-an-hour missiles at us, and fortunately we had our people operating the greatest equipment in the world, namely the Patriot system. Think of it, 5 missiles going 8,600 miles an hour, big ones, coming right at us, and all 5 were shot down. How about that, right? Pretty good. Nobody else could do that but us, yeah.
In response, President Donald Trump stated that America was able to thwart the missiles due to its Patriot system. Furthermore, 47 addressed a drone which reportedly struck the US-owned floating storage tanker Energos Winter at Egypt's Damietta Port LNG terminal, which caught fire and spread to a nearby vessel. He stated the US will be hitting Iran very hard, adding that now it's America's turn.
On the the drone attack on the LNG tanker off of Egypt, what can you tell us about that? And is there any indication it's Iran-related? Does it represent a wide
I'll give you a report. I've been briefed. It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it, but you know, they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot, so it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point, but we're going to hit them very hard.
Mr. President, first on this, is this expected to affect any incoming or outgoing flights?
No, we think we can do it without a lot of disruption, very little.
In a post on X, the US Central Command reported that their forces successfully completed a heavy wave of strikes against Iran last night, in retaliation to the attempted missile attacks on US forces. Dozens of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps targets in Iran, including military command centers, missile and drone facilities, coastal surveillance and defense sites, were struck. More than 50,000 US service members are currently deployed to the Middle East. And Iran has reportedly secured a $60 million deal for Chinese-made air defense launchers. According to a Reuters report, Iran is expected to receive the first shipment of up to 400 shoulder-fired air defense missile launchers within weeks, describing the effort as one of Iran's larger known attempts to rebuild its short-range air defenses. The deal also allegedly involves an intermediary company and potential transit routes that could include Pakistan. Although Beijing and Islamabad denied the reports as groundless, President Trump, when asked by the press, stated that it would be surprising if true.
President Xi told you that China would not give or sell Iran any weapons. And there's a new report that Iran's about to get 400 rocket launchers from China going through Pakistan to Iran.
Well, that would be surprising. I mean, things like that happen, but that would be surprising. He told me very strongly he wouldn't partake, and he knows I'd be quite disappointed.
Whilst in Washington, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had a sit-down with US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth at Blair House in DC. The meeting took place the day after Netanyahu met with President Trump behind closed doors in the Oval Office. Public reporting indicated that the session focused on Iran-related security issues and the US-Israel defense partnership amid ongoing regional tensions.
סיימתי עכשיו פה שיחה עם מזכיר המלחמה, פיט הקסט. הוא אמר לי דבר מעניין. הוא אמר לי, אנחנו מסתכלים על העולם, אז יש מדינות שיש להם רצון להילחם לצד ארצות הברית, אבל אין להם את היכולת. ויש מדינות שיש להם את היכולת, אבל אין להם את הרצון. הוא אומר, רק בישראל אנחנו רואים גם רצון וגם יכולת. ואיזה הערכה יש להם, גם לעם בישראל וגם לצבא ההגנה לישראל.
Stay tuned to any of our Love World networks to stay updated with all the latest breaking news. And now we move right into more updates from around the globe. Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin met with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Dublin on Wednesday to discuss the EU's multi-annual financial budget for 2028 till 2034. Merz called for the European Commission's proposed budget to be reduced by several €100 billion, describing it as not acceptable. In a joint press conference, Irish reporters questioned Merz about Germany's opposition to proposed EU measures targeting Israel, including a possible ban on trade-in products from Israeli settlements in the West Bank. Merz stated that they do not believe that general sanctions against Israel are the right thing to do, adding that Germany has a special responsibility towards the state of Israel, that they therefore cannot join sanctions regimes against the Jewish nation.
Diesbezüglich heute.
Ja, ich will zunächst einmal sagen, die Produkte, die Waren aus den besetzten Gebieten im Westjordanland, das werden die vermutlich wissen, fallen zu Recht nicht unter die Handelspräferenzen für Israel. Ich unterstütze die Kommission darin, diese Regel auch konsequent umzusetzen. Und darauf muss jetzt unser Augenmerk liegen. Wir beobachten ansonsten mit großer Sorge die Aktivitäten der israelischen Regierung in den Siedlungsgebieten im Westjordanland. Ich habe das mehrfach mit Ministerpräsident Netanyahu auch in persönlichen Gesprächen zum Ausdruck gebracht. Aber wir halten generelle Sanktionen gegen Israel nicht für richtig. Da gibt es unterschiedliche Auffassungen zwischen unseren beiden Ländern. Aber ich werbe im Kreis der europäischen Staats- und Regierungschefs auch immer dafür, dass Deutschland hier in einer besonderen Verantwortung gegenüber dem Staat Israel steht und wir uns deswegen Sanktionsregimen gegen Israel im Allgemeinen nicht anschließen können und wollen. Und dabei wird es auch jedenfalls für die gegebene Zeit bleiben.
Following the release of over 1,100 pages of Dr. Anthony Fauci's pandemic-era diary, he appeared before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee yesterday after being subpoenaed to testify. The hearing focused on the origins of COVID-19 and Fauci's role during the pandemic. He repeatedly invoked his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination, declining to answer questions more than 100 times and stating on advice of counsel that he would refrain from responding. However, Senator Josh Hawley warned Fauci that he could not invoke the Fifth Amendment because a presidential pardon from former President Joe Biden removed his right against self-incrimination.
Well, nothing says honesty like taking the Fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs, they know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally, cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Committee Chairman Senator Rand Paul announced that the panel would hold a vote next week on whether to hold Fauci in contempt of Congress for repeatedly invoking the Fifth Amendment. President Trump noted that he inherited Fauci from the Biden administration and added that several factors warrant investigation into whether Biden personally authorized the use of an autopen to execute Fauci's pardon, noting that a presidential pardon is, quote, literally the most powerful thing a president has.
President, Dr. Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times today.
Yes,
Senator
sir.
Rand Paul said he's going to hold a vote on holding him in contempt of Congress. Do you think Dr. Fauci should face repercussions for this?
Well, I watched the whole thing today, but more importantly, I was a part of the whole Fauci. I inherited Fauci. He was here from the 1980s, so I had him for a period of time. And I disagreed with him on a lot. I would have had to close down the whole country if I listened to him. I went the Federalist way, which is basically let the governors decide. And generally speaking, the Republican governors did very well. The Democrat governors did not very well. But Fauci wanted to have nobody wearing masks, if you remember, and then everybody had to wear 5 masks, as many masks as you could get. I mean, he made a lot of mistakes. And he wasn't a big factor for me. He was a very big factor for Biden. And if you remember, even though we were sort of prime time in terms of that whole disaster of COVID, and we did a good job, but many more people died under Biden than died in the Trump administration from COVID. COVID was a disaster, but Fauci did not help.
Do you think that the DOJ should reopen the investigation to the AutoPen, specifically pertaining to Fauci?
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the AutoPen, because the most powerful thing a president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful, they say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon. But I'm not sure that he signed, he probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the AutoPen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify.
During a press conference in Alberta yesterday, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney addressed the ongoing US-Canada trade tensions, specifically the new tariffs called for by the Trump administration on Canadian goods. Carney stated that they are in discussions with America to have a more stable trade relationship with the US. The head of state noted that Canada is now stronger than before the tariffs started, adding that Ottawa is the best country in the world for infrastructure investments.
We still have north of 80% of our trade, 85 as we speak today, but north of 80% of our trade is tariff-free with the United States. And we're engaged in discussions with them. Now, we're engaged with discussions working to have a more permanent or more stable is a better way to put it. Nothing's permanent, but a more stable relationship, trading relationship with the U.S. That addresses issues in some of our largest industries. And that recognizes the new U.S. approach to trade. So we're starting from a strong position. And I'm going to go back to one other thing, and I'll head back, which I said at my prepared remarks. And we're stronger than we were when this started. We are stronger than we were when this started. We're growing jobs twice the rate of the U.S. Our FDI is twice the rate of our nearest competitor. That's the United States. It's twice the rate of the U.S. We're the best country in the world judged for infrastructure investment. We're focused on the right things: affordable housing, community, becoming an energy superpower, diversifying. Everybody wants to do more with Canada, except the United States. Everyone wants to do more with Canada. So we're engaged in all these trade negotiations, and we're delivering them, and we're on track to have access, free trade access to 3 billion consumers. That's what we got. We will, first and foremost, we're engaged in those negotiations to look to find a mutually beneficial solution, and we're only going to accept a solution that works for Canadians. We have lots of options of what we would do if that's not there. Both positive in terms of supporting the economy and also addressing other issues. But I'm not going to be drawn on what we're going to do. We're going to focus now on building towards an agreement if an agreement is possible.
More stories coming up after this short break. Stay with us.
Feasting on messages from the Pastor Chris Digital Library just got more exciting. Experience the transformative power of God's Word like never before with life-changing teachings by the man of God, Pastor Chris, on the Pastor Chris Digital Library, now available in all of the most widely spoken languages of the world. Dutch.
Christus in jou, de hoop van glorie. Vanaf dat moment, wanneer Christus zijn intrek neemt in de kamers van jouw hart.
Spanish.
Vamos a usar el nombre de Jesús. Expulsar demonios.
French.
Je pourrais vous montrer plusieurs autres domaines importants dans la Bible.
Arabic.
لا يمكنك تمجيد الله بجسد مريض.
Mandarin.
白衣的人站在他们旁边。当耶稣升天，两个天使出现在门徒注视耶稣的升天。
Russian.
Вот почему вокруг так много убийств. В мире так много насилия в мире.
German.
Tat es in Christus. Das habe ich gerade gelesen. In Christus Jesus. Tat es in Christus.
You can now access these powerful teachings culled from the Healing Stream's live healing services with Pastor Chris with titles such as Who is in Your House? Where is Jesus? What is the Purpose of Healing? Knowing God's Plan for You, Part 1 and 2. Why did Jesus come? Using the name of Jesus. He has given us His glory, the benediction, and others in your preferred language, making it easier to understand, receive, and walk in the light of the Word. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Subscribe to access these messages in your preferred language and experience the miraculous. Download the Pastor Chris Digital Library app today from the Love World App Store at www.loveworldappstore.com. Pastor Chris Digital Library, a place of solutions.
Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi met with his Qatari counterpart Sheikh Khalifa bin Hamad Al Thani, where the two sides agreed to further strengthen collaboration and partnership in the field of internal security. Topics of discussion focused on enhancing bilateral cooperation in the security sector, deepening their security partnership, and regional peace and stability. Naqvi stated that Pakistan is committed to enhancing cooperation with Qatar in security and other areas of mutual interest, while the Qatari minister affirmed that Doha attaches great importance to its relations with Islamabad and will continue working closely to strengthen bilateral ties. During a working visit to Bratislava, UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan met with Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico on Wednesday. The two leaders discussed bilateral relations and opportunities to expand cooperation, particularly in sectors such as development, renewable energy, and advanced technologies. Discussions regarding recent developments in the Middle East were also on the agenda, with both leaders noting the importance of strengthening regional security and stability to advance efforts for lasting peace. Let's take a recap of today's headlines. Iran fires multiple ballistic missiles at a US base in Jordan.
They sent 8,000-mile-an-hour missiles at us, and fortunately we had our people operating the greatest equipment in the world, namely the Patriot system. Think of it, 5 missiles going 8,600 miles an hour, big ones, coming right at us, and all 5 were shot down.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz rejects general EU sanctions on Israel during a press conference in Dublin.
Wir beobachten ansonsten mit großer Sorge die Aktivitäten der israelischen Regierung in den Siedlungsgebieten im Westjordanland. Ich habe das mehrfach mit Ministerpräsident Netanyahu auch.
Anthony Fauci invokes the Fifth Amendment over 100 times during a Senate hearing on COVID-19 origins.
You were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
Canadian Prime Minister says Canada is stronger amid US tariff threats.
We're focused on the right things: affordable housing, community, becoming an energy superpower, diversifying. Everybody wants to do more with Canada, except the United States. Everyone wants to do more with Canada.
And that's a wrap from us for today. I'm Melissa Negrini reporting for the Love World Networks.